Hey friends, welcome to Meals with Maria. Today I'm cooking like a copycat. I have some amazing copycat recipes for you because let's face it, every now and then, don't you just crave a restaurant meal? But the truth is, going out to a restaurant is an extreme price hike. You can save so much money by cooking restaurant quality or restaurant copycat meals at home. Today I'm making some P.F. Chang's lettuce wraps, some baby back ribs, and Taco Bell crunch wraps. All of these things I promise you will cure your cravings and save you tons of money. Enjoy. I'm going to start off by making P.F. Chang's lettuce wraps. Now there are a million of these recipes out there on the internet, and maybe you have your own favorite, but I happen to like this one from Stylish Cravings. You want to start off by dicing about a half a cup of onion. You know me, if I have a whole onion, I'm going to go for it. If I have a half, I'll do a half. Another option is always to add in a teaspoon or two of onion powder when you're cooking. Now the recipe calls for 2 pounds of ground beef, pork, or chicken, whatever you have in your freezer, whatever you find on sale. And I only had 1 pound of ground beef today, but I did have a bunch of mushrooms. And I thought, mushrooms are earthy enough, they're meaty enough, that I'm actually going to slice up my entire container of mushrooms and use those as a supplement for that other pound of ground beef. You want to slice up about a 1/4 cup of water chestnuts. Now, water chestnuts are pretty inexpensive. They come in, I think, at 99 cents at my local store. So they're a great thing to just stock up on, grab a few cans of, and keep around in your pantry. And that way they go really, really well with any sort of Asian dish that you're cooking, and it'll add a little extra crunch. Now, before I get started on cooking everything, I'm going to get started with my sauce. You want about a teaspoon of minced garlic. So I'm just actually going to grate mine or kind of microplane it. Or you could use already minced garlic, or you could use garlic powder. Just a teaspoon will do. To that, add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, or in my case, I'm using coconut aminos. You can grate in about a half a teaspoon of frozen or fresh ginger, or you could use a half a teaspoon of ginger paste. Another good option here, if you don't have any of those things, is ginger powder or ground ginger. I've used that many, many times in place of fresh ginger, and it still tastes really good. But I am proud of myself because I finally grabbed some ginger, placed it in the freezer, and then I can just grate off some whenever I need it. You also want to add a half a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and this completes your sauce. Just give it a stir and we'll get started cooking everything on the stove. You want to heat your skillet over medium-high heat and then add in 1 tablespoon of oil and a half a tablespoon of sesame oil. Add your onions to the skillet and then saute for 3 to 5 minutes until they begin to soften. I recommend serving a side with this, so you could do some rice, or I happen to find these pork dumplings and these beef dumplings on Manager's Special, so I made those up on the side. There's also really, really good egg rolls or spring rolls at the Dollar Tree. You can get 8 of them in a little package for $1.25, and they are so delicious and they go so good with something like this. Once your onions are softened, add in either your 2 pounds of ground meat, that's ground pork, beef, or chicken. I'm using ground beef. And if you're using mushrooms like I am, you can just break up your meat a little bit and then go ahead and add those mushrooms in as well to cook right alongside the meat. You just want to cook this all together until your ground meat is fully browned. And then add in 1/3 a cup of hoisin sauce and mix that well. You also want to add in the rest of the other sauce that you made. And once everything is well combined there, you just want to add in those water chestnuts, and then we're going to cook that for about 3 to 5 minutes just to make sure that all those flavors meld and get into all of the meat and the mushrooms and the water chestnuts. And this is going to be done. It's going to be ready to serve. You just want to serve this filling inside bib or butter lettuce. You can see I have my dumplings here on the side. They cooked up so well. You want to top it with a little bit of cut up scallions if you like. My kids were not going to go for the lettuce, so I actually served it with tortillas for them, and they absolutely loved it. An order of lettuce wraps is going for about $8.95 these days at P.F. Chang's, and I would guess that this is about 4 to 6 times the amount that you're going to get at P.F. Chang's, and I'm feeding my entire family for around probably less than $10. So you're definitely getting a lot of bang for your buck with this meal, and you're eating relatively healthy too when you use the lettuce wraps. We are going so simple on this next one, but it is such a good tip. I wanted to make like a Chili's baby back ribs recipe, but when I went to my local grocery store, you could only get a pack of like 2 racks of ribs for $40, which yes, may still be cheaper than going out, but I was not about to buy that many ribs. Then I found these already cooked, already seasoned baby back ribs for $11.95 on sale, and my husband and I only need like a half a rack, so this was the perfect thing to cook and the perfect price for us. At my local Chili's, a half rack of ribs meal is $15.95, so I am already in better shape just by buying the ribs like this. I just sliced them up and served them for us, and they were so good. You just follow the package instructions. This is just a reminder that you don't always need to eat out to splurge or get something that you're craving, because sometimes you can just get the packaged stuff at the store and it's going to be a better deal. For this next recipe, we're making a Copycat Crunchwrap Supreme from Taco Bell, because sometimes you just want like a little fast food, right? So the recipe actually calls for a jar of nacho cheese or queso cheese dip, and I only had a jar of Cheese Whiz and salsa, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that that is like queso cheese dip or nacho cheese. So I'm just mixing together my jar of Cheese Whiz and about a quarter cup of salsa, and this tasted delicious. So it was a perfect copycat of the nacho cheese. Then you also want to brown up a pound of ground beef or ground chicken or turkey or whatever you have with 1 small onion chopped. Once your meat is no longer pink, go ahead and stir in a quarter cup of water and 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning with a teaspoon of minced garlic. And I buy my taco seasoning at the Dollar Tree, so it is super cheap. Or you can also use some garlic powder instead of the minced garlic. Same thing with that onion. If you don't have regular onion, go ahead and use onion powder. You want to continue to cook this until it starts to boil, then reduce your heat to low and simmer for about 5 more minutes. Make sure everything's really well mixed there. Now this recipe makes 6 crunch wraps. So you're going to need 6 large flour tortillas, as well as 6 tostada corn tortilla shells. They're like the crunchy circle ones. 1 cup of sour cream, 2 cups of shredded lettuce, 1 tomato diced, and 1 cup of shredded Mexican cheese blend. To assemble, you just want to put your larger tortilla on a plate or on a cutting board. Start by spreading a half a cup of the taco meat onto the center of the tortilla. Microwave your cheese dip in the microwave for about 20 seconds just to warm it up, and then you can drizzle about 2 tablespoons right over your meat. Top your meat with 1 of the tostada shells. I find the ones at the dollar store are the perfect size, and they're only $1.25, and you get, I don't know, maybe like 20 in the package. So this will make way more than just these crunch wraps. Top that with a thin layer of sour cream, a handful of shredded lettuce and diced tomato, as well as some shredded Mexican cheese. To fold the wrap, you want to start at the bottom of the flour tortilla and then fold the edge up over the center. And then you kind of continue to work your way around, folding the tortilla over the center fillings. And then there's going to be a small spot potentially left open in the center. This kind of depends on whether you have the smaller or the larger tostadas, and because I have the smaller ones, mine ends up being the perfect size. But obviously if you have the larger tostadas and you want to make a little bit of a larger crunch wrap, you may end up with a little hole, and at that point you just want to take a separate tortilla and just cut like a little circle and fill that in. But I find that this size works perfectly, and it's just perfectly filled up. And then you want to take this and put it on a non-stick skillet with some butter or cooking spray and heat it over medium heat, and place the seam side down onto the skillet and cook for 1 to 2 minutes until golden brown. And then you're going to flip it over, cook it on the other side, and you can slice it in half. You can serve it as it is, as a whole crunch wrap. It is absolutely so delicious, so amazing. Tastes just like Taco Bell. You made it at home. You saved money. You didn't even have to spend money on that expensive gas. This is such a treat. I want to thank you so much for watching today. I hope you got some great copycat ideas. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, because I'm posting 3 budget meal video ideas, something like that, 3 times a week. So there's some good videos coming up, and I will see you all very soon. Give it a 100. The best?
I'll give it 100 plus Google plus 100 plus 4.
I've been waiting all my life.